Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an AMX 30B. It's a tier 10 French medium. It's located on the north-east born of Arctic region, otherwise known as Mannerheim Line, and it's under the command of Mr. Lan. Now, we've seen replays from Mr. Lan before, and they've usually been quite exciting, and I'm expecting this one to be too, because, well, the AMX 30B is quite a good tank. It's actually in the collector's tab now, I believe, so you can go out and buy one yourself if you've got 6.1 million credits. Yes, it's rather expensive, but then it's worth it, because it's kind of like the Leopard in many ways. It's got a 105mm gun, it's got great mobility, very, very poor armour. Okay, first target he spots is an EBR 105 stationary, spotting 341. That's a low roll, because if I remember correctly, it'll do 390 alpha, and he gets another round into a Leopard. 345 again, low roll, but the enemy's pulled back from that position. We've got a T54 lightweight over there, a T30 up there. Oh, I think he's taken around now as well. Tier 10 game with tier 9 tanks in it, and he gets another hit. So he's been active only a few minutes, and well, a minute, and he's got 4 hits already, 5 hits now, 6, he's just got his first kill, standard B. I told you this guy's good. Now, what can I tell you about the AMX 30B, other than the fact that I've told you it does 105mm gun. With the standard APCR, what a shot in the EBR at this distance, that was incredible. It's using standard APCR, but in actual fact this tank didn't carry APCR for real, it only carried heat. But of course Wargaming needed a standard ammo that they could use against the heat ammo as premium, and therefore they put APCR in there as well. That Leopard's trying to get away, he knows what's coming. Yeah, he's decided, I'm gonna run. You can run, but you can't hide. Okay, there was a Jaegeru up there. For a brief moment, I believe he saw a Jaegeru. Okay, what have we got over here? T30. Yeah, nice round through him. An average roll. Can he get another shot in before he pulls back? No, I don't think so. Oh, but there's that Leopard again. He went into the gully and he just took out our T100 LT. But Mr. Lan was seen, so he needs to be careful he doesn't receive another round. He's up to 3k of damage already. There's the EBR 105 he saw earlier, the one he got the first shot into. He's moving, and he's coming this way, being a bit reckless. And his teammate in the 704 is getting a bit in the way. Now, come on, Mr. 704. You're actually inhibiting the one best player on your team who could win the game for you, and you're blocking him from getting a shot on that EBR, and well, the 704 did get the EBR, but he took a round for it. And if only he'd let Mr. Lan do it, he would have got it a lot sooner, or rather they would have got it a lot sooner. And I think now that the 704 is more than a little miffed, because he's actually trying to push Mr. Lan out into enemy fire, which means that that guy is now going to get the troll label. He's very low on hit points anyway, but I suppose he regards what Mr. Lan did as a bit troll. But Mr. Lan gets another round into the EBR 105. I think it must be obvious to everyone on his team that Mr. Lan is the best player on the team. By far, the amount of damage he's done so far. Okay, he's requested support from the TVP 250-51, or was that the TVP calling him? The 704 is not a happy bunny. But then he shouldn't try to push people out in front of the enemy. I know he's a bit miffed that he didn't get a chance to shoot the EBR sooner, but Mr. Lan would have done it much better. He was just blocking Mr. Lan from getting the shots on the enemy, and after all, he has done the most damage so far. 3.7k of damage already, and the game's only been going just over 4 minutes. Okay, Mr. Lan's deciding he's going to go a little further in, a bit deeper into the enemy. He might be able to get shots into the CS59, the EBR 105, are blocking our teammates around that corner. But I think he's going to go a little deeper down. Yes, he does that thing where he zooms in, zooms out sometimes as well. It's not a favourite amongst viewers. Oh, EBR's decided he's going to try and race through. Takes him around from Mr. Land. Just now, notice how he did that snapshot. The moment the guy appeared, bang, and he gets another one in. Unfortunately, he took a round in the tracks, but the EBR is out the game. The 704 finally gets another kill. Courtesy of Mr. Land, because he reduced all the hit points. Reload time on this tank is 5.74 for Mr. Land. The normal reload time is 7.48, so he has reduced it a fair bit. Okay, CS59, we can see them. They are pushing. They killed the TVP. Oh no, the TVP's pulled back. I'm wrong. TVP pulled back to our cap area as last line of defence. The 704's gone. He's died. He was very low on hit points anyway. And now Mr. Land is deep into enemy territory without any support, but it doesn't bother him because he's just going to do as much damage as he can while he's here. Leopard takes another round. Just pokes around the corner and there they are. Pulls back as soon as he's got the shot in. It's deadly accurate, this gun. It is one of those guns, the 105mm, based on the L7A1s. Now, they built 2,800 of these. De Gaulle wanted his own European tank. Obviously, the French were part of the European tank project, and of course that came up with various tanks for various nations, including, well, the Leopard 1 or Leopard prototype, and of course the French put in the AMX 30B prototype, or AMX 30 prototype. But the one that was selected for the Germans was the Leopard 1, and the French decided to go ahead and build their own tank, because after all, these things are quite expensive, and the French didn't fancy paying all that money to the Germans. Well, not really during the 60s. This is still fresh after the war, 15 years, so memories were still a bit, shall we say, short on, they weren't really wanting to pay hundreds of millions to the Germans for tanks, although the Germans do build good tanks. So the French decided, oh, we'll go alone, we'll build our own tank. Now this thing doesn't have great armour. As I said, it was built on speed, accuracy of the gun. They thought that with missiles, anti-tank missiles, that there really would be no need for armour on tanks anymore, because a missile would take out a tank just like that. That CS59 just fired in our direction, and he fires one back. And Skoda's looking for a quick shot as well, and he's out the game. Just look at that. That's how good Mr. Land is. No problem to him. He's a bit like Oppenheimer in many ways. He sees an opportunity, seizes it, and that's it, the end of the enemy tank. He's up to just under 6k now. Only 3 kills so far though. So the armour on this vehicle, not that great, as I said. It's 15 centimetres of frontal armour on the turret, only 40 and 30, 40 at the sides, 30 at the rear. That's why that penetration went in right through the side of the turret. On the actual hull, it's only 18mm at the front, but it's nicely angled, and 35mm at the side and 30 at the rear. So very easy to pen one of these vehicles, unless of course you hit the tracks. Now, we do have some good tanks moving from the cap. They've come back to the cap area, and an Object 277 and a Foch are stopping the IS-32 from moving in, which gives Mr. Land a shot to do a chance to do a shot like that. Get some damage into the IS-32. Still don't know where the CS-59 is, but you see he's knocked these trees down to give him a bit of cover. Okay, there's the IS-3 again, but he's behind a rock. There's the CS-59. Again, he's behind a rock. I noticed he reversed there, but he didn't actually check if there was anything behind him before he did. He could have easily have gone down that bank. The IS-32's dead. This is the CS-59 now. Can he get a shot on this guy before he expires? Just quick check behind him. AMX M451. He's the guy who's blocking our teammates from moving further along the south, and now we're in almost within range of the T-30s, so he needs to be careful he doesn't poke out too far, because the T-30s will punish him. 750 hit points per shot from those guys. 2 shots and he's dead. The MX-50's gone down. He was spotted. The Jaeger who saw him And here's the T30. Oh, T30 died before he could get a shot in this direction. I think he may have been aiming elsewhere though. But we've still got the problem of that Jaegeru, who's probably waiting for Mr. Land to come out. He's only got 2 rounds of APCR left. The AMX M451's the last one down south, and he's looking this way. Luckily his shot went into the snow just ahead of us. He's holding this position for the moment. I think he's a little cautious about moving any further forward. We've got the advantage because there's only 3 tanks left on the enemy team, and the AMX M451 is one of the ones over there. And then he's now taking shots from our teammates. Okay, so Mr. Land's now free to do his big thing. Didn't get a hit there. Pulls back. What's going up there? Oh, there's the T30. He's not looking this way. Put a round into him as well. That's now just under 7k. Can he get another one? Oh, didn't reload in time. Just missed out on that. Oh, we've lost the 277. There's the Jaegeru. Tries around for the top of the vehicle. Couldn't get it. Pulls back behind the rock for cover. Nice. He's worried about that AMX M451 as well, just in case he pokes out too far. That guy might try. I'm surprised he hasn't come this way. Oh, the T30 did hit him. And yes, he got ammo-racked, I think. Tries for the top of the AMX M451, didn't get it. And the guy's getting really close now. Trying for the Capola, he gets it. 443 high roll. And there's rounds coming in from our teammates trying to take out the M451. And he gets the kill. So no worries from behind him now. Or rather in front of him. Now he's got to worry about the T30 and the Jaegeru. The last 2 left, and he's one of only 2 left. And the other one happens to be the TVP T5051. But he can't really help from this position, not at the moment. And I have the feeling that they're sitting out the ledge, waiting for him to pop out. We need the TVP to find out where they are to get the lay of the land, so to speak. No joke there, Mr. Land, sorry. No pun intended. Potentially he's got the high caliber. He's already got 20% of the enemy hit pool. You can see that because I've got a mod right at the top of the screen, which actually shows it's way up here, right at the top. It's a little symbol for the high caliber with a tick next to it. If you've got the tick, you've got the 20%. Doesn't necessarily mean you've got the high caliber though, because somebody else might have done more damage. Although in a game like this, where he's got 7.5k of damage now, it's very unlikely that there's somebody else with more damage than he's got. But you never know. Just keeps poking out just in case he can spot one of them. Trouble is, it would only take 1 shot from a Jaegeru or a T30 and he'd be out the game just like that. And there's the 2-minute warning. He's only got 479 hit points, so a shot from either of them would be enough. He gets down into the dip. Well, this means now he can move up on those guys, and they are around the corner. And he's moving in to help now. He could go to the cap to try and start capping, but if he did, I think those guys might try to laser him. There's one of them. Can he get shot in on the front plate? Yes, he can. Fires a heat round in, didn't get a penetration. They're sitting there, both of them, waiting, but the Jaegeru is technically a 2-shot. There's the T30. T30's a 1-shot. Oh, that was close. He did get the shot on target, but it just didn't go through again. Again, the TVP's got his wonderful gun that's capable of doing, well, it's only a 100mm, but it's capable of unloading all 4 shots in 4.5 seconds. But of course, he's also in the same predicament because he might get 1 shot in on target before they fire one in on him and take him out. But at least the T30 could do that. Pretty sure the Jaegeru could as well. Okay. The clock's ticking, 34 seconds. They don't want to be the one that lets the other one down. Oh, T30 went down to the TVP. We fire another one in, didn't get the pen in. So times like this, you wish you could go around and, well, get a shot into their side while the TVP's forcing him into a position. I think they're both going to leave it. Devil may care, go straight in, see what they can do. He fires one into the lower plate, doesn't get the kill. And, oh, Jaegeru got him. And I think the TVP, yeah, that's the draw. That was the last second. So it was a good try, but couldn't get it right at the end. So it is a draw, but a fantastic game. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And here's the end of battle stats, and yes, it was an ace tanker for Mr. Lan in the AMX 30B. Well, you wouldn't expect anything less than an ace tanker considering how much damage he did and how much he really carried that game. He also managed to get a bruised medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 8 fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. A 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. And yes, he did get the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall. But I'm afraid it was a draw. Just couldn't get that Jaegeru out. And in fact, actually, I think if he stayed in the position he was behind the rock and the TVP had managed to force that Jaegeru to move back, then he might have been able to shoot the guy in the side and then he would have taken him out the game. It was only the fact that that T30 was the problem, and he couldn't get at one, or there was the possibility that TVP might go down to the T30 and then Mr. Lam would have to deal with him as well. But it was a good try all the same. Let's have a look at the team score and see where he was. 7,587 hit points. Nobody else was really near him. The Jaegeru was the next highest scorer with 3,838. The guy who killed him, yeah, I'm afraid he was the one second highest on damage. The next highest on damage was that T30 as well with 3,087 hit points. And finally, it was the AMX 50 Foch who got 3,081 hit points of damage. And that TVP, well, he did very well, but he just didn't get enough in the end. When it came to kills, it was shared at the top spot between Mr. Lan and the Jaegeru. Both got 4 kills each. And when it came to base XP, because it was a draw and because Mr. Lan did more damage than anyone else, he got the highest with 749. So technically that means he's got the top in all 3 columns. Whereas the next highest scorer was the CS59 on the enemy team with 670, followed by their Jaegeru with 621. Mr. Lan fired 40 rounds in that game. He only had 50 rounds of ammunition, so he only had 10 left at the end of the game, but he actually held on to his premium rounds towards the end. 26 direct hits, 20 penetrations, damage of 7,587 hit points, of which 4,168 were at more than 300 meters. He received 5 hits from the enemy, 4 of which penetrated, 1 non-penetration, and he damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 4, and did 1,429 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium account, he earned 60,019 credits from that game, 36,708 from personal missions payout, 4,380 from achievements for getting a battle hero medal in a losing or drawn game. So his total, 133,307 credits altogether. And after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, he took away 4,877 credits profit. Yeah, I'm afraid it's those heat rounds towards the end actually cost him so much. That's where it all went away. If he'd actually had a free-to-play account, he would have made a loss. But because it was a premium account, he did make money. He earned 749 XP, 419 for the Achievements Award, 1,752 experience points altogether. He said almost carry. If they killed the Jaegeru, yes, it would have been a carry. He would have got it towards the end. And I still say, I still think that he would have been able to get that Jaegeru if the TVP had managed to back him up and sort of like push him over to the ledge. And then, of course, his heat rounds would have gone through the side of a Jaegeru, but they just couldn't get through the front plate of a Jaegeru. So good to remember that in future. If you've ever got heat rounds loaded in the AMX 30B, don't try to penetrate the frontal plate of a Jaegeru, or the lower plate for that matter. Try to get through the sides or the rear. So, excellent game by Mr. Lan. Sorry you didn't get the win there, but you put up a hell of an effort. And it's a bit of a pity, really, that Object 704 just did not realise how good a player you are. He wasn't that great a player himself, only 1,034 hit points, 2 kills in the game, and both of those kills were courtesy of Mr. Land in a sense, because they were both the EBR 105s on the enemy team, and Mr. Land set them up. He was the one who took most of the hit points off those guys, made it easy for the 704 to get the kill. But yeah, obviously that missed that 704. I'll go back to him again. You've got to remember not to try and push your teammates out. No matter how much they try to steal the position from you, it's probably because they're a better player than you if they're trying to take that kill. But what you did was unforgivable, to push an enemy tank, or a friendly tank rather, out in front of the enemy fire. That's as good as killing them yourself. And so I'm afraid this guy is going to have to go on the troll list as a troll, because you don't want that sort of player on your team, because if he does that to you, well, you're going to be most annoyed. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithms. And thank you for watching.